Good morning. Welcome to the transparency. Welcome outside of the Carroll County courthouse here, Delphi, Indiana, where the local time is 6:50 a.m. Top of the morning. Look at that light. So again, we have all of the, that's usually people were lining up, is on the ramp. And due to election and ballot counting and stuff like that, we weren't allowed to line up on the ramp. So the ramp is clear. So I'm not going to be rude. What's up? What's that?
I think it's your charger.
It was in my car.
It was hanging off the back of my leg.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I would have just been like, whoa.
I'm like, what's hitting me?
I think the election was called.
Oh,
Was it official?
Yeah.
So again, good morning. Good morning. You guys are doing tea or coffee? What do you guys got? Hello. Thank you, Liz. Liz donated on the Cash App, so I got that. Boom. So did Sherry D. Heavy D. How'd you guys sleep last night? Who got out there and voted?
I'm going to go with you until you want to go.
Did you make your voice known? Coffee, yes. Again, that's where everybody was lining up. And today, I don't even know how they're doing it. Were there chairs out in like somewhat of a line, or is it just people had their, yeah. There's Lawyer Lee over there. Oh no, she's right there. Yeah, I'm not. Look at the cannon. Oh God, that look at how bright that is, man. Woo. Such a cute area. I want to show you guys some of the blue and purple ribbons here. There's the white van. I found the white van, y'all. All right, so is today the final day? Will the defense rest? Are there going to be any surprise witnesses? Kathy Allen, will she testify? My thoughts on that is that Kathy Allen will testify, and she's going to testify to the fact that Rick was home that night, and so returning to the crime scene to be putting a phone down or anything like that would have been impossible because, she was home, they were home, they ate dinner, saw the news together, you know what I mean? Stuff about so I have a feeling that that's what Richard Allen's wife will be testifying to. Is she going to be the only witness today? Remember, guys, it's not the defense's job to do a damn thing. And I just think that everybody gets this twisted. And it's really bothersome if we live in the United States of America that we're under this thought process of that the defense has to do a damn thing. The question is just, did the state prove their case? And for me, what yesterday showed is that for a long time there, if you guys are paying attention to this timeline, the 1032 last cell phone movement that they said that they had before all those hearings started coming up in 2023 and 2024, they were dubbing that 1032 activity as like a ping back then. Okay, it wasn't a fucking ping, all right? That was the damn aux cord coming out. Now, They had that phone for 7.5 years. Unfortunately, the jury doesn't understand that. And none of those questions were asked. Like, if someone just got on this case a couple months ago, and they're only like they were hired to do X, Y, and Z, 2 things, and that alone cost $25,000. So, but so all these questions as to like why the defense witnesses didn't do X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, if you're going to give so much weight to like the state's freaking witnesses, why didn't they do X, Y, and Z? That's their job. Somebody coming in to say, hey, look it, this is what you missed. And if you would have continued to keep trying to see what this was at 10:32, you would have found out at 10:32 the aux cord is saying that it was disabled, pulled out. And then if you would have went back and said, okay, well, what's it doing at 5:45? Oh wait, an aux cord was put in, meaning it says wired headphones. And then if you want to give the argument, let's even play devil's advocate. Let's say that it's water damage. Let's say it's water damage. Then you'd want to prove that that aux cord, okay, is going on and coming off because of that. Because of that. Okay? You just don't say in the middle of a trial, okay, well, it could have been this and it could have been that. Because my thing would be like, absolutely. And these couldas mean that you're not proving anything. Like, you're not proving that the phone wasn't handled by human hands. That's your job. Also, when you want to have somebody go into a courtroom and talk about that they just went out and Googled something, I got so many questions about that, guys. Cecil should have been considered just like me, you, anybody. I want to know if Kathy Allen was allowed to have a cell phone in that room yesterday. If anybody that was a witness yesterday was allowed to have a cell phone in that room yesterday. Because how could he just leave the courtroom, go and Google something? Did he go all the way downstairs, get his phone out of the bucket like everybody else had to? Because Cecil was a witness that day. Go grab his phone out of the bucket, go outside and start Googling stuff. Because he just testified that he did that, I think his phone then can be forensically looked at to see if in fact he did do it and what sites he was on. I don't know. I just think this is absolutely ridiculous. I think something else that everybody needs to start considering is, why did these voicemails come in on February 17th? Like, wait, what? Also, it was alleged and rumored that, when I say rumored and alleged, I'm only saying that because I believe it was testified to, but I wasn't in the courtroom that day, so I'm saying alleged and rumored, that the phone was found powered off. Okay? So if the phone was found powered off, then at 4:33, when it was on in the morning, right? Because all of this shit came through. Are you saying that the phone was on all the way until 4:33, but then some miraculous thing happened at 4:33 to, have all these messages come through? Or was the phone, in fact, turned off at some point, turned back on, and then it died? And these are all things that we would have known had they did a full file extraction right away and not waited till October of 2017 to do such a thing. Also, why isn't anybody asking this question? Why weren't any of these phones extracted? Why weren't any of these phones extracted? Even Richard Allen's at that point. Like, there should be so many phones that should be in discovery as being extracted, and that data there because of everyone who said that they were there. I still have yet to see the Fitbit of Betsy Blair. I want to see that Fitbit. So everybody was allowed to, at 7 a.m., move up and on the railing to line up. So. When they're in birdwatch, I'm going to have a panic attack. Oh my gosh. There you go. Whose van is that? I don't know. It's here to be forensically examined. So good morning, everybody. All right. Will the defense be resting today? What's going on? What's up? Yeah. I would have loved to see a timeline person testify on the behalf of the defense, just to put it in black and white for the jury to see, you know, have something back in the deliberating room. So I want to know what call came in right before that aux cord was plugged in. Also, let's talk about this, which is if the elevation of the 4 flights happened at 3:29, then, or I'm sorry, at 3:32. Again, 3:32. Please tell me what the hell was going on from 2:13 to 2:32. How can nobody talk about this? Go get him, Andrea! Woo! Miss Burkhart arriving. You got them combat boots on? Yeah! Love her. Truth warrior right there. She always arrives right around 7, relieves for line sitter. So. I got peeps standing up there. You guys like that? You like that? Go get them. Dude, I could be your hype man. This is why we'll win games. Days that you don't want to bring it, I'm going to bring it for you, but only for a little bit. You got to pick it up. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened between the video at 2:13 and the elevation of the 4 flights of stairs that was equivalent to 40 feet then. So, and it's just really interesting of the timing of it, because if you're saying guys down the hill and they went down the hill right after the video, y'all, that would mean that the elevation would be right after the 2:13, and it's not. And if we're going to take into the Karen Reed account of what could actually transpire for that, then if you do all that, good morning. If you do all that, then it's like, could you go, if there's actually hills, would it, could it drop your elevation? And the woman testified yesterday, yeah, but it has to be significant. Okay, not like a bump in the road is going to be like, oh my God, I just fucking went down a flight of stairs. No, or up. No, she's saying this has to be significant. And so I went and drove around, and right by where Brad Weber enters in to go to his home, there is a huge drop. It is a 20-foot drop. I think it's 20 feet. So, I mean, then the question is was there enough steps to get from the point of the bridge where it says guys down the hill? Then how many steps were taken to get from that point to where the crime scene was? If you're saying that the girls were walked, over there, those are all going to be steps, whether the killer has the phone or Abby or Libby, whoever would have had the phone. And when I did my calculations, I said, absolutely not. There's not enough steps. There is not enough steps here to get from and saying everything that they did up until that point to then the steps that were taken. There's not enough steps to get from that bridge to that crime scene. 100%. There's not enough steps on that phone. And the steps is the most accurate thing on the health data. How were the girls not seen by the helicopter? I don't get that. From my understanding, the helicopter came in right as the girls were being found. So that's my take on that. Yeah, this, yeah, the road I'm talking about over here in Delphi, like there's actually like freaking holy shit, it's a drop. So, oh no, thank you, but thank you. Why don't defense show a physical timeline? Like that would be helpful in many cases. Yeah, and I think the person that could testify to that is if they recall Max, because normally you're having somebody put it together that is like an investigator. So I don't know if that's something that they want to do, just to say like, hey, we took the stuff that they, even have, but here's the stuff that when you put everybody's movements on, and maybe they're going to do this in closing. And I'm just hoping that they do, because if they visually show stuff in closing, I'm telling you, if you put these people all on a map and you're moving them and showing how in the world, is there only one person, to sit here and say that Betsy saw Bridge Guy, you guys, I'm sorry, but also Betsy made 3 loops. How can we trust on what loop did she truly see all of this? Also, why didn't Betsy see the couple? And I personally believe that if this phone went down the hill at 2:32, then there's a huge problem, because I believe Dave McCain was on the bridge, and Dave McCain would have seen that shit. It would have been right in your face to see people walking up that side. So I have a hard problem. I just struggle with that. So, also, what's putting Dave McCain on the bridge is when Derek German's testimony of when he saw him. Remember his testimony in this courtroom is that he didn't go left towards the Monon High Bridge because of Dave McCain, who he didn't know was his name. It was flannel shirt guy. Okay. Well, because he was coming from that way. Now Derek testified like he didn't shout at him. He just like asked him like, hey, have you seen 2 girls? Well, Dave McCain said he had to shout that to me. So that means you're not that close to me. That'd be like me yelling somebody over there at the side of the road, on the other side. Hey, did you see 2 girls? Because the way he was coming. And that's why he decided to then go this way and walk towards then the Freedom Bridge. And then Dave said that he was at least on the bridge for 30 minutes taking photos. Okay. And Betsy Blair left at 2:18, right? And she said there was no cars there when she left. All right, but was she even asked that in the beginning, Well, let's even say that there were no cars there, because Dave, let's say, arrives at 2:30. It's all going to be... It's pretty wild. Oh, shit. The other thing I want to say is that Libby's phone started walking, or you could say taking steps, at 1:30. Okay. Um, so this is interesting for me because I thought that they were in the car still taking their selfies at 1:41, 1:43. Remember, she called her dad at 1:38. Kelsey, I don't know if it was asked, and it should have been because, again, when did she, in her interviews, she says that Kelsey said that she must have been making that phone call as she was walking on the trail because she didn't see her make that phone call because at 1:38, Kelsey called her boyfriend. But if they're still in the car taking selfies at 1:41 and 1:43, that's why I believe that that starting to walk or taking steps at 1:30, that should have been talked about. And for the life of me, I have no idea why nobody from Apple is never testifying in freaking court. Why are people testifying to the way that Apple works and they didn't make it? They didn't make this. That just blows my mind. I want to know how much it would cost to get a damn Apple expert to talk about, like, y'all created this. we have court cases where people are testifying that are experts saying, you'd have to ask Apple. Well, Apple's never been asked anything. That's funny. What else here? Good morning. So as you can see, it's nice and calm over there, though. I'm not going to go put no cameras in people's faces. That's ridiculous. Lana, do you have any predictions if it goes to jury today, tomorrow? If you've seen the jury, how do you think they're leaning as far as a verdict? I don't know who the defense has left. I don't believe that it's on the defense to prove anything. So I think the defense did enough job on truly cross-examination. But then when you put on I think you got to give credit to the defense. They were handicapped every single step of this way, and I don't even think you can use the word handicap. They were prejudiced like you couldn't believe, and still to come here and to put on the type of vigorous defense for Richard Allen that they've done. And so, can you imagine? Because I think maybe the jury's thinking, well, if not him, who else is out there? Who else is there? Well, do you guys really think that all those people came forward? And that would have been my questions. Like, did the couple come forward? Did everybody that was out there on that bridge come forward? Do you guys know that there was other people out there? Do you guys have knowledge that other people were out there that didn't come forward? And the answer to that question is yes. You can get around that without asking about the geofencing. You could have asked, was there information available that stated that there were people out there that didn't come forward? And the answer to all of that is yes. And so, like, Richard Allen came forward and he gave his cell phone up. So for people to say that he got rid of his cell phone, you guys, in 2017, he went there, gave him the phone. They took the phone, took the battery out, got all the information. So I don't want to sit here people say, oh, well, he didn't get rid of shit. He probably could have got rid of 5 phones. Okay. And there's nothing that says that he got rid of his 2017 phone. Like, that's just absurd. That's not what happened. And nor did anybody testify that he had all of his phones except for that phone. So that was not testified to. That's mainstream media spinning you. So the jury, I think the jury is an acquittal, at the worst, a hung. I think there's two people in there, without a doubt, that you're not getting to vote guilty. That's my take. That there's two people in there that you're not getting to say guilty. There's just no fucking way. There's absolutely no fucking way. And I have no problem saying the juror numbers. But there's two people in there that I think that that they will not budge, and because this is no lesser charges. This is either murder or it's nothing. So I will say that it's really hard to, how do I want to put this? Where the girls were found, there's no way in hell that one person, if they were like, to say that they were, the only way that you'd have been taken there later, if you like went and did something and then you're taken there later, is if you had a vehicle and you used Brad Weber's access. Because no person is, you know, handling the bodies and being able to do what was seen at that scene by themselves. It's literally like, now I know why the FBI was saying all the stuff that they were saying about Ron Logan. Let me just put it that way. But that's such a steep hill. Like, these girls weren't muddy and like, just like, you can't, I don't know. There was definitely time taken into this. This was nothing quick. There is no way that Richard Allen is the guy that's walking, okay, up along the side of the highway. I believe personally that was Derek German, based on all the testimony that Sarah Carbaugh, that's who she saw. I believe that she saw Derek German. That's who was walking over there. And which makes sense at 352. That's, 356, 252. That's who was there walking around. And that's who I think she saw. And it's interesting that she wants to say muddy and bloody. That just blows my mind. And I'd be pointing that out in my timeline. Hi, thank you. Lana, do you think there's any chance of a... Yeah, I do, 100%. I think that if you apply the law, guys, there's so much reasonable doubt. Like, if you apply what you're supposed to apply, it says you have to give the defendant the benefit of the doubt. And the benefit of the doubt is not beyond any and all. It's beyond reasonable doubt. And it's 100% reasonable that we don't know what time the girls were killed. We don't know what time the girls were killed. And so when you take that into account, that we don't know what time they were killed, then you take into the account of, okay, now you have this, the crime scene. It looks like it's, clearly you had people testifying that it's been staged and moved, and then Betsy Blair, I think yesterday, stamped it and said that that car that was at the CPS lot was not Richard Allen's vehicle. Like, so you're putting another vehicle out there that's, and then you mix that with the guy that testified the day before, Heath, who said he saw that car at CPS building from 8:45 a.m. to 1:42 p.m. Richard Allen wasn't out there at 8:45 a.m. Okay. And this was being treated as like a long weekend. So what were people doing out there all weekend? Then I just can't believe that no one's talking about who the girls were planning on meeting up with. Even if it was just other friends, or like who they were texting. And if you're allowed to go into their phone and talk about that without talking about Anthony Shots. Okay? You could call Logan at the stand and ask, did you have plans to meet with, your girlfriend? Like, what the hell? But showing that other people were supposed to be there, and it's like, were those any of the people that were calling to see where the hell they were? It's just wild. It's just wild. You never know what a jury will do. 100. But apply what you're supposed to apply. You guys, we have people testifying, okay, to the fact that there's different wounds that were could have been used by different weapons, okay. And so I believe personally, Bridge Guy, whoever it is, say even if it was Richard Allen, I believe Bridge Guy didn't do it. Let me just put that to you. Okay? Like, he didn't do it. I don't care who Bridge Guy is. Bridge Guy didn't kill anybody. I was told that Keegan Klein is not testifying. Lost interviews, kicking out the FBI. I mean, the DNA at the crime scene matches a freaking ISP trooper. Get the fuck up out of here, you guys. Like, are you kidding me? Hair wasn't tested. I mean, come on. If the jury takes all of this, and then how much weight do you want to apply to these freaking confessions? If he would have confessed before any of that, bullshit with solitary confinement, I'd give weight to that. But he did not. He maintained his innocence all the way through, saying, no. He denied it 25 times. Listen, I watched Dateline. We watched Dateline. It feels like you guys are trying to, blame me. Like, come on. That's what all of us would say. I've watched Dateline. We watched Dateline. This is like, you'd be starting to have, you'd be like, wow, this is really happening to me. So, I just think that you got no screams. Why would nobody scream? Well, because you're going with people that you know. And the jury's not allowed to say if it's not Richard Allen, then who. That's not how this works. And if they say that in the deliberating room and someone doesn't correct them with that, then shame on them. Because 1 out of those 12 jurors should know that. That's not how you deliberate. You don't deliberate by saying, well, if it's not Richard Allen, then who? The fuck out of here. That's not your job. Your job is not to solve the murder. Your job is to make sure that Richard Allen gets a fair trial. And your job is to weigh the evidence that's admissible and to not talk about the stuff that's not been talked about and it's not in evidence. That's your job. And if the state did not prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, then you are to acquit. And I'm sorry, but if you apply everything I just said right there is no way that Richard Allen is convicted of these 2 crimes. I can't wait till the jurors find out what the fuck was really truly going on in this case after the fact. Oh my God, if we would have known this. Oh my God, if we would have known that. Oh my God, right? Do I think that Richard Allen's rights were violated? I think that all of our rights were violated in this case. Because when you wrong one person, you wrong us all. And people that don't believe that, fucking pray for you. I pray for you. Because you need all the help in the fucking world. Also, let's not forget, the prosecution didn't have the balls to ask, hey, is Bridge Guy in the room right now? Nobody identified Richard Allen as Bridge Guy. How about that? If your case is so slam dunk and those people know who they saw, I know who I saw. fuck up out of here. You couldn't see straight because you had to piss or whatever the fuck you were doing at the library for 30 minutes. Out of here. I'm an athlete. There's no way in hell that I'm leaving the track and if I'm in the middle of a workout that I'm dilly-dallying around. If I'm an avid, enthusiast for my health, if I'm a workout freak, I don't believe that the jury's. I think they're going to be throwing out. Okay, now let's talk about the bullet. Let's talk about the bullet. Can you, beyond a reasonable doubt, say that bullet belongs to Richard Allen after what the fuck you heard from two different people? Can you say, beyond a reasonable doubt, that bullet belongs to Richard Allen? And if you can say, yeah, you are lying. You are lying to yourself. I don't believe there is no way that 12 people are going to say that beyond a reasonable doubt, that bullet belongs to Richard Allen. And if 12 people are saying that in that room, I'm telling you, some of them are lying to themselves. There's just no way you could say that after what you heard in that courtroom. Why would this expert who's ex-law enforcement get up there and say that it's insufficient? Why? Oh, because they were paid? Get the fuck up out of here. Everybody in that motherfucker is paid. I would have asked those guys what their salary is for the year. So you're getting paid to be here right now because you're on the clock, right? Okay, just making sure. So everybody's getting paid in this courtroom, right? Who's not getting paid? Raise your hand. Richard Allen raises his hand. Fuck out of here. Just want to make sure everybody knows everybody's getting paid in here because we all have to feed our kids, right? Okay. Who doesn't get paid to do work? Unreal. And let's be clear who paid for it. It wasn't Richard Allen. Richard Allen didn't pay for that. The state paid for that, right? He has public defenders. So, yes, I think what my big sell on that would be is the connecting to Wi-Fi. That's if you really break down why a phone would connect to Wi-Fi to be able to have iMessages coming through. That was interesting to me. Also, could a phone have been left there, SIM card taken out? Okay. Then when you returned, you're putting the SIM card back in. So could there things like, there's no evidence that the girls crossed the bridge. We're clear about this, right? There's no evidence that those girls crossed that bridge. Stayed over there. There's no evidence of that. Bridge guy is so AI, it's not even funny. You cannot see a person. If you don't believe me, ask Andrea. Ask Lawyer Lee. You cannot see a person in the bridge guy video, that 43 seconds. You can't see a person back there. So you know how much you had to zoom in to do that? And they use the word enhance versus alter or edit. Enhance. It's like they use Viagra. They enhance their shit with Viagra. sad. Just sad. Girls deserve better. Also, if you really want to be technical about some other things, you can you can see Abby in the 2-minute and 13-minute video. But can you see Libby? And it was asked of Becky Patty if she, would recognize Libby's voice, and is she like loud spoken? Is she soft spoken? I could just tell you that if I was trying to go and hang out with people that I was not supposed to hang out with, and I'm smart, that I would make my family think that I was at the bridge when I wasn't at the bridge, so that I can go and do something for a little bit, and then I'll return a little bit later, okay? And say that my phone was dead or something like that, right? So maybe posting a Snapchat, it was like, you're making it seem like, hey, that's where we were, and then we went and did something else. But nobody would know that. Like, I'm just trying to say, like, what kid wouldn't do that at 13? Okay? What kid wouldn't do that? A lot of kids would. V Slims, what's up? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with kids being kids. And I think that when you talk about just like kids being kids, just like in the Idaho 4 case, when you want to talk about just like, college students being college students, I don't think there's anything wrong with college students drinking or even experimenting with drugs. I'm sorry, but like, that's when I would hope that you would do it, get it out of your system so that you're an amazing functioning adult. All right. Life is all about experiences. Life is all about making decisions, learning from mistakes, growing. All right. But if you didn't lie to your parents when you were 13 years old, I would say that you're lying to us. Okay. So there's just way too much reasonable doubt. And can you imagine how much more reasonable doubt there would be if they could actually have put on a case like they were supposed to, if they were allowed to put on a case, if they weren't strapped? I know why this wasn't filmed. I know why this wasn't streamed now. After being here and seeing what I saw in that courtroom, I know why there's no cameras in that courtroom. I would agree, Teresa. I feel horrible for the victims. I feel horrible for their families. You go back and you watch all these videos over the past 7 years. Like law enforcement, I'll always say this is why you can't have that many hands in the cookie jar. Things would fall through the cracks. Maybe it'll take us a little bit more time to solve a case. But if we have less hands on it and everything's being funneled just within a certain group of people, okay, then, like I said, maybe something would take a little bit longer, but we're not going to lose shit. We're going to make sure that all the stuff is done and it's being, this case was, how do you even know what people are doing? Like how does somebody interview somebody when Richard Allen went to the police department. Another girl went there. I mean, okay, hey, well, somebody will call you. What do you mean? I'm here at the police department. You don't want to keep me here at the police department? Or tell me, oh, wait, here, you need to go down to the sheriff's or wherever. Like, why would a police officer be calling that person? How many people do you think were coming up to the door saying that they were on the bridge that day? that's sus right there, that you would ever send some, okay, here, thank you, leave your information, and then somebody will call you. You know what that tells me is that they don't want it on camera, because they want to know what that person knows first before they move any further with that person. You understand that? That's what it tells me. Why would anybody say, like, I'm gonna, oh yeah, okay, I guess I can talk to you at the grocery store? What the fuck? That wasn't Richard Allen's doing. That was them. He went to the police department. Like, give me a fucking break. I think the line's getting ready to move. He wasn't the only one, you guys, in this courtroom that went to the police department, and then they were called back. Like, we'll have an officer call you. Okay. Come on. I'm here. Don't you want to, like, wouldn't you hand me a piece of paper to make a witness statement? Here, can you sit down? I'm gonna have you write down your witness statement and then we're gonna have at least get that. I mean, this is a small town. We're not talking about some big time city. We're talking about a little small town of 3,000 people. Okay? God, like, this doesn't make any sense. And then you just have to ask yourself, who truly is running, like, these law enforcement divisions? And, like, just because you were a patrolman one day doesn't make you a detective the next. Like, the skills that you would need. First of all, you better have really good organizational skills to be a detective. Then you better be able to connect dots. All right? But just because you can be a patrolman, that's not the same, nowhere near close to the same skill set. And so when I hear people, they go from being a patrolman to, I worked my way up to detective. What? Well, what did you learn as being a patrolman that is, like, it has to do with investigating crimes, like, and putting events together? And I just think that that's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. Hey man, I was the secretary, man. And now you're what? Well, now I'm a doctor at that place. And okay, well, did you go to school? Yeah, I went to school, and then I had to do residency, and I had to do all this shit to become that. Not just because I was in the building and the secretary. The next day I'm the fucking doctor. Fuck out of here. It just bothers me. I thought the best answer that Richard Allen ever gave was, why would you think that somebody's a good person and that they would kill 2 little girls? Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, he just said it plain as day to those guys. And it was when he was being interviewed. Why would you think that a good person could kill 2 little girls? That's not a good person. Like, and if this day and age, if no one in that deliberating room says that in order to get convictions in America, if we need to do what we did to Richard Allen to get convictions, to be able to have somebody confess 61 times that are the most ridiculous so-called confessions, then we have a problem. That's a United States of America problem. Good morning, Kim. They lost phone data, didn't interview witnesses, didn't test the hair, didn't search the cars, didn't get the trail cam footages, didn't get the Hoover Heartline. Yep. Can you believe that, you guys? Can you believe they didn't get the video from, like, that's what I was been asking everybody. I'm like, where's the actual camera footage? No, we have these still photos. Oh, because what? Mullins went in there with his cell phone and was taking pictures of what was, are you out of your fucking mind? You guys, how fucking, what? Where's the camera footage? Who even got the DVR to make sure that the time on the camera was correct? What did you time it up with in the world that day? unbelievable. Obstruction of justice by Ali? I think so. 100%. You guys, the only male profile of that scene belonged to an ISP trooper, not the ISP lab worker that's been surfacing around. I don't know how that ever came out like that, but that's wrong. And that was a trooper that the first time they went ahead and put it through the database, that it didn't have a hit. And that's what I believe the IGG was done on, was that profile. And that's why they resubmitted it, because it came back to that. And it's like, wait a second, he actually works for us. How did this not hit? And then they resubmitted it. And then miraculously, oh, then there was a hit. Are you kidding me? So, okay, great. An ISP trooper. And it never came out. Like, whose DNA is this? Okay, it's great. It's one of your people. Whose full-blown only profile male DNA is at that crime scene? It ain't Richard Allen's. And I'm not going to let the jury think that it's somebody that worked the crime scene if they didn't work the crime scene. And then I'm going to ask them, how the hell did that still even happen? Unbelievable. It's crazy. What? No time of death? Okay, innocent by. You guys, I just don't even... I don't even... I don't know how this can't be the most quickest innocent. I shouldn't even say innocent. Just, if he's guilty, it's sad. It's sad, because if he is guilty, then this was so botched that we can't even get him because he did it, but we messed it all up. So that's what I'd be saying in the deliberating room. It's not about if Richard Allen's innocent or not. It's about it. Did they prove that he is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? And the answer is no. And I just think that sucks. I think that sucks for everybody involved, because this is going to continue for the families. This is going to continue for the Allen family. This is going to continue for all these families for the rest of their lives. And that sucks. And that's not fair. And we owed them. We, the people, owe other people better, because we should expect better. Oh, there's your white van. All right, guys. Will today be the last day? Will today be the last day? I think a special shout out goes to everybody that has literally came every day, whether you were sitting for somebody, whether you came a couple times, whether you came a bunch of times. I think that what was going to be happening in this courtroom was attempted to be suppressed as possible. And I think a lot of people in the true crime community rallied together to do the best that we could, to see that it wasn't suppressed. And we're human too, just like mainstream media is human. And so it was also at times hard to hear in there, so mistakes could have been made. But I believe that those mistakes have been human mistakes, not sinister mistakes. So literally, make sure you just remember that a lot of people came from a lot of different areas, and covered this case, getting up super early in the morning, staying until obviously the doors would be closed, and then having them to stress out to figure out, am I going to get in the courtroom the next day? I think a lot of people spent a lot of money too. So just give props for props due with that. Thank you, Sandra. Be safe. Be safe to you too. WB, $20 super sticker. Thank you, WB. Ashley Rigg, $1.99. Are there stairs in the library? I can go take a look. V Slims. I went past the library to just do my drive test. You guys, how do they not do a drive test? The FBI cast team. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Good point. $2 Perry says good point. Unknown time of death equals reasonable doubt. Yeah, we don't know when those were. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that there's something to be said about the skin being attached to that hair. I also think there's something to be said because if you're going to claim that it was washed, the hands were washed, that's interesting that the hands would be washed. Oh, and I think that a special shout out needs to go out to Carroll County Sheriffs, Delphi Police. There's a bunch of agencies. Logansport was here. There was multiple agencies that came out here literally every single day and provided the utmost security so that everybody felt safe coming and going from the courthouse. And that was awesome. Like, hands down, awesome. It was like, I felt like it was a 1-to-1 ratio in there. For every person that was in there, because there wasn't that many people, for every person, there was like literally a law enforcement officer. And so daily, I was thanking the amazing crew. And there was people brought in from different, like I said, jurisdictions. There was a bunch of people brought in because you have to go through metal detectors. You basically put your bags and stuff, you're scanning your stuff in. And hands down, the security that was here throughout the duration of this trial has been top level. Like, nobody could ever say that they came here and did not feel safe, because that'd be a lie. I have felt completely safe here. I think this community is very kind. I tried to hit every place to support. So I hit the office, supported them. I hit brick and mortar, supported them. I hit the Mexican restaurant, supported them. Anything that was in this little box, I tried to support with going and spending money. What else? I got gas in Delphi. I used an ATM in Delphi. Hopefully that was Brad Weber's ATM. So anybody out there that says that law enforcement across the borders is bad or anything like that, you guys, in every case would look like this. Okay, there's only so many cases that look like what happened here, and I truly believe that it was just too many hands on deck, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. And so beautiful small town, absolutely. Yep, but they also seem to keep an eye on people. Like I said, thank you, V Slims. If you didn't give credit where credit's due and try to say anything other than what has been displayed by law enforcement when we've been here, then I'd be biased as fuck, because that's not the case at all. Law enforcement has been on it. And anybody that would come here and say anything other than that, you damn lie. So. Well. Thank you, Catherine. I tried to go to that church the other day and pray. They weren't open. So. This building is beautiful. the town is clean. It's not like dirty. So anything else before I wrap this up? God bless the victims and their families. 100% bad girl. Rachel, absolutely love your honesty, Lana. Thank you. Yep, sometimes it can be raw and off the cuff, but you know what? It's just passion. And special prayers for the victims' families, because to try to put yourself in their shoes of reliving this again is, come on, man. And hearing, I mean, you're just reliving a nightmare every day. So, and even like if you weren't like blood related, there's people that coached the girls, there's people that were neighbors, there's people that babysat them at one point. There's just, in a small community like this, blood doesn't always mean family, you know. So. Good morning, everyone. Lana, have a good day at court. Give us the deeds today. I'm going to try. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for your support. I will try to I try to keep you informed. Lana, were you inside yesterday? Did the jury take notes during the ballistics? Yeah, the jury took tons of notes. There's a couple jurors that, you know, were harder to read than others. There's a couple jurors that didn't take as many. Everybody's a different learner, a visual, you know, everyone does everything different. So, like, but definitely everybody in there was taking notes and was engaged and listening. And I just don't think there's a clear path to Richard Allen. Like, there's no way that these jurors could talk themselves into that. And if they somehow do, then that's a shame, because it's not justice. I think the jurors are being very critical. I think the jurors have asked a ton of questions. I think there's been a lot of questions that they've asked, though, that's been outside the scope. I mean, I think it's truly interesting that they would ask the woman that was doing the dump on Libby's phone about Richard Allen and him having Ting as a provider and what the heck that means. It's like, why would you ask her that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But go ahead. Like, that has nothing to do with what she just testified to. So, like, there are things, like, I'm being critical of them. Like, I want to know who asked that question. Because you didn't ask that question to the people that were actually talking about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, the lady just told you what she was hired to do. Okay? She didn't even know. I have no idea about Ting. Like, what? But that's what they were thinking about while this woman was testifying. And that's problem. Because I know what they were thinking. Like, why didn't they hire this woman to do that? Or why didn't they hire this woman to show Richard Allen's, like, phone, historical phone records? Well, why didn't the state? The defense doesn't have to do a damn thing. Why wouldn't the state go and do that and show Richard Allen's historical phone records? Okay? I hope one day that I get to interview a couple of the jurors. So, no chance Ari's testifying? I mean, I think they got to see his interrogation. And I mean, like, that's who he was. Like, he's not the same person. Do I think that he could sit there and tell you, like, I mean, what he endured in prison? I mean, I don't think that you would see Richard Allen, like, crumbling on the stand and be like, oh my God, yeah, I did it, or anything like that. Okay. But it's like, how many times can I say, like, I didn't do it? Yes, I said I was there. I came forward. I gave them my phone. I had nothing to hide. Okay. Do you want to know how bad I wish I had my 2017 phone? Like, do you want to, I mean, I gave all of that up to them then. So they would have known then, if they would have done the work that I was expecting them to do, okay? If they would have done the work that I was expecting them to do, like, how does that not, what do you want the guy to get up there and say? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't know the girls. There's nothing linking the girls to anything. They went through all this social medias, all the digital evidence. There's nothing linking Richard Allen to these girls. There's no DNA. There's no, out of everything that was there, the girls are pulling people's hair out, but they're not, I mean, they're not scratching at Richard Allen at all. I mean, do you understand that these girls' hands, there's nothing binding them? So you're telling me that your hands aren't able to dig into someone's skin? Come on. Richard Allen just, like, it sucks to say, but I just personally believe he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And he called it. He said, I'm not going to be somebody's fall guy. Like, what the heck? You know, I'm going to go off of this. I'm going off of what the jury said that they needed in a murder case. And this jury said they wanted a murder weapon. They said that they wanted DNA. They said that they wanted phone record, digital record. I mean, there has to be, if you're going to be convicting on murder, unless all these people were lying when they, and that's what I said I would go back to, is, hey guys, remember when we had jury selection and we asked you guys what you needed to see in order to convict? Okay. Well, let's talk about that. We kept our promise. We kept our promise. Remember the state want to talk about Frosty? Okay, well, think about this. Richard Allen's Frosty. Like, you can't, there's everything that y'all said that you needed to convict for a murder case. None of it's here. Like, so, and I just think that when you say that to those jurors, that should resonate with you. That should be like, yeah, when you're going to judge somebody's credibility, you said that you needed consistency. You said that you have to be consistent. Well, that an eyewitness that testified was consistent. Brad Weber wasn't consistent. Betsy, Sarah Carver, Muddy, I mean, nobody was consistent here. I'm just going back on everything that they were asking these people of what they would need. It's just not there. So. I give zero weight to those confessions. Sorry, but those confessions, I'm sorry, but absolutely unbelievable. Then you find out that the doctor, Walla, was in all these Facebook groups, and get the hell out of here. Maybe we're going to hear more about that today. That wouldn't be a bad idea, is to stamp it on what was being said in these groups. Prior to Richard Allen confessing what was going on in those groups. Because loose lips sink ships, guys, and there's a lot of people talking about a lot of things that weren't known to the public back then. And that now that you had the trial, you see that whoever had that information clearly knew something because it was there. So, but thank you guys so much. After 15 days in the hole is considered torture. And I think you guys should also think about this. Monica Walla had no issue. She thought she was untouchable to just go in these groups under her name, Monica Walla. She didn't go in under like Susie Smith, Jane Smith, and then like got caught using an alt or something. All right. Like, she Like, there's nothing's gonna happen to this woman. Like, that she's untouchable. You guys, that is so unethical. It's not even funny. And can you believe that in a case like this, that maybe that's what tips the iceberg? And Richard Allen, yep, we're gonna acquit because we do believe that things were said. Nobody's ever been housed like that. Nobody's ever. All these, oh my God, we've never seen before moments in a case, multiple of them in this case. It's just really sad. So, Doug Carter testifying and saying that he kicked the FBI out, priceless. When all he did was lie to all of us every time he took that mic. You know, sad. It's really sad. At least I feel like he lied. That's my opinion. The sad thing is, Walla is still working for the same company, just in a different location. So she probably didn't learn a thing. All right, guys, you guys rock. Be kind to one another. We have First Amendment right to speech, and you should use it. You should also use other amendments that we have, other rights. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Thank you, moderators. Appreciate you.